over you.
Yes, I find that works better, especially since I'm already about 4 drinks deep. Oh yeah, the stage direction is going to be on point tonight.
Oh gosh,
I'm excited.
God help us.
God help us.
God help us all.
There we go. My audio is repeating back to me, so that means we're live. Welcome everybody to Scripts Gone Wild, where alcohol and good intentions converge and produce whatever the fuck you're about to see tonight. I am your host, Billy Ray Bruton, going solo tonight since our normal co-host, Mr. Dave Lawson, remains on maternity leave.
Hey, Dave.
That's right. We send out our love to Dave.
all love.
I assume wherever he is, he's drinking. So
He's
cheers to
drinking
him.
too.
Tonight we are reading a film that means a lot to a lot of people who are reading tonight, and it's also a film that was voted on by our Twitter audience. I put up a few films that they should vote on for us to read, and Tales from the Crypt Presents Demon Knight won that poll. And so we're really excited about that. And I feel like the best person to maybe tell us how awesome Demon Knight is Jeremy Gardner.
Yeah, well, I'll just tell you really quickly. I'll truncate this story. I loved this movie so much in 1995 that my mother, who has no idea what horror movies are, and she's a Christian woman, she went down and she haggled with a local video store owner to sell her a rental copy, so much that he just finally said, forget it. And he pulled one off the shelf, he shrink wrapped it. And I woke up on Christmas morning, 1995, and it was sticking out of my stocking before everyone was awake. I watched Demon Knight, the first thing on Christmas morning. And then 24 years later, Todd Masters, who did all of the creature design in Demon Knight, made the monster for my movie After Midnight. So this is all surreal. So I love this movie deeply.
And an awesome monster it was in your movie.
He's amazing.
Yes. Phenomenal.
So yeah, if you haven't guessed, as he just described, we are reading Demon Knight. We're super excited about that, but we're even more excited about the fact that we are raising money for Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
Tonight is the first night. It's officially going to be our only charity for the next 2 months. So this is the first in that series of reads. We're super excited. I'm going to assume that everybody knows about the amazing work that Black Lives Matter is doing right now, but you can also go to blacklivesmatter.com. And if you want to get to the donation page really easy on their site, because it's actually ActBlue is what handles their donations. We have a tab on our homepage, scriptsgonewild.com. It's a donate tab. If you click on that, it'll take you directly to the Black Lives Matter donate page. And it's just a couple clicks and you can make a donation. So now, in the middle of the read, after the read, in 2 days, if you just stumble on the read, we really, really encourage you to make a donation to Black Lives Matter as much as you possibly can. And, if you don't have the money, I don't know, hawk some things. Go to the pawn shop. Take care of it.
Sell a kidney.
Sell a kidney.
And it also helps to just share it.
Yes, absolutely. Share, post, anything you can do. I think now we're getting into that stage where you're stopping this. You're not seeing it as much in feeds as you were a couple weeks ago. So anything anyone can do to make sure that stops and keeps going is a great thing.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we're excited about Demon Knight, aren't we, everybody?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm going to give everybody the rules. Most of these guys know already, but Scripts Gone Wild is a drinking game. If any of our readers miss a line, miss a cue, do anything that we can construe as a mistake, they have to take a drink. Our audiences on social media choose social words. Anytime those words are read aloud in the script by the readers, not me, just the readers, if those words are read aloud, everybody has to take a drink. And those words tonight are kill and fuck in any connotation. So that includes fuck, fucking, fucker, motherfucker. If it's got F-U-C-K in it, then it counts.
Okay.
Well, this is not a family show.
This is not a family show. Put the kids to bed or just give them an education.
Yeah.
We also have something that we call a finish your drink line. Our Patreon subscribers vote on a line from the film that they want to be the finish your drink line. And that means is when we get to that line, everybody finishes whatever's in their hand, whether it's a couple of sips or a fresh pour. And that line tonight is put down the goddamn cat.
Ah,
Put
that's
down the
my line.
goddamn cat.
That's Irene.
Yeah.
So when we get to that line, everybody
Leo.
finishes. I think that line comes on like page 45, something like that. So
Oh, wow.
just gauge your drink levels when we get there so you don't get insanely
God.
screwed.
Shit.
Hopefully you will not.
That'll be when I refill.
That's right.
Of course.
And if anybody would like to be the person that throughout the reading makes the random and weird jaguar growls, go right ahead. Because they just come out. They're all throughout the movie. And I don't know why, but they're there.
Wait, it's in the script. The jaguar growls?
No, but it's in the movie. If you listen, there are all these weird like cougar growls.
Oh, well, yeah. You know.
I think that's just like demon sounds, you know.
Maybe so. Maybe they were just like, I think a demon sounds like a cougar.
I think really we should pause and cast that and just come back.
Who does the best cougar growl?
Come on, we could do the cougar. That's ladies. Rawr, come on.
It's you.
Rawr.
Throw them in whenever you feel inspired.
A sexy house cat.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what was.
Rawr.
Look
Is
what you've
anybody-
done.
So I'm going to introduce our readers right now. For those of you at home who are like, who are all these amazing people? I think they look familiar. We've got Felissa Rose, Tiffany Shepis,
Yay.
Jeremy Gardner,
Hey.
Alex Marshall Brown,
Hey, everybody.
Yes.
Adam Carl.
Woo.
At 9:30 in the morning, Mattie Doe,
Yeah.
Rico Anderson,
Hey.
Ashley Song,
Hey.
Taylor Ward, Jared Rivet, and Mr. Frank Dietz.
That's-
Any questions, guys?
No.
What are
Okay. I think it's time to get to it then.
Play.
Let's do this.
Demon Night.
Woo!
Highway. A full moon hangs over a barren stretch of two-lane blacktop stretching across a patch of badland. A low metallic drone in the distance. A faint point of light appears on the dark horizon, and a gray late-model sedan slowly takes shape. The drone gets louder, becomes deafening as the sedan screams past. A moment of silence. Then, fawoosh! Fawoosh! Two black Pontiac Firebirds careen out of the darkness, pursuing the sedan. The driver, Breaker, in his late 30s. He glances over his shoulder, face gaunt, leathery hands gripping the steering wheel tightly. On his forearm is a tattoo, an ancient emblem seared into his flesh. Breaker sees the headlights behind, turns forward, eyes to the gas gauge, and the needle is deep in the red zone. Cuts to the right and skids to a halt, blocking both lanes. Breaker digs beneath the car seat and pulls out a Winchester repeating rifle. Glances out the passenger window at
Drink.
Two pairs of headlights speed toward us. Breaker tries to roll down the passenger window, but it's stuck. Cursing, he kicks out the window, spraying shards of glass onto the roadway, and takes aim at the approaching headlights. Pulls the trigger. Kerblam! Kerblam! The tires are blasted from under the Firebird on the right, and its front end slams to the pavement, spitting sparks and screeching metal. The Firebird swerves, catching its twin in the rear, and the second Firebird explodes in a mountain of orange flame. Breaker fumbles for the door handle as the ball of fire nears, and the Winchester catches the steering wheel. The Firebird slams into the sedan. As the great sedan explodes, Breaker tumbles out the door, rolls across the pavement. Several figures emerge, unearthly cries as they claw at their flaming bodies and burning eyes. What's left of the three cars explode. The burst of white light illuminates a nearby dilapidated road sign which reads, "Welcome to Lancaster, New Mexico. Good neighbors are our best natural resource." God damn.
Oh,
Starting
Oh,
early.
this is going poorly already.
Getting to his feet, Breaker
Putting
can
it
just
high.
see dim lights in the distance. The wind kicks up, blowing sand and sparks. Clouds blot out the moon. Teeth gritted, hurting, Breaker heads towards town. Lancaster, night. The place is closed. Breaker stumbles onward and he looks like shit. Ahead is the town's one sign of potential life, a motel. The wind blows harder. A crack of heat lightning takes us to a white crack-a-boom. In the motel office, Breaker enters the motel office, and outside is a vacancy sign swinging back and forth in the wind. Wanda, the plump, platinum blonde proprietress, looks up from her crossword puzzle. She sucks hard on a bottle of diet soda. On the floor behind her is Danny, her 8-year-old son. Breaker approaches the desk, brushes sand from his clothing, and the sand lands on Danny's coloring book.
Room.
No problem. It's always nice to see a new face around here. Ain't that right, Danny boy?
No.
Don't pay him no mind, mister. He never been anything but trouble. Fuck.
She hands Breaker a pen. A hand reaches for the pen, grabs it before Breaker can take it. Standing beside Breaker is Homer, Wanda's 6 foot, 170-pound husband. Homer glares at Breaker suspiciously.
You look like hell, mister.
Homer?
Shut up. We're full.
Breaker gazes at Homer. His eyes flash menacingly. Homer hesitates, steps back uncertainly. Breaker heads for the door, opens it, and turns back, his gaze taking in all of them.
Much obliged.
He exits. Highway. Car is still belching fire into the night sky, and a pair of black Oxfords step into the roaring firelight. Dressed in a black suit, black sample case gripped tightly in his hand, the traveling salesman gazes at the burning wreck, his face obscured by the wide brim of his black hat. In town, Breaker slowly makes his way back to the street. The wind has gotten even stiffer. He steps under the marquee of an abandoned movie theater, huddles there, lightning, distant thunder. A voice speaks from the shadows by the movie theater doors.
Oof. Listen to that thunder. God's doing some serious thinking tonight.
Breaker tenses. He turns slowly. An old man, unshaven, reeking of cheap booze, sits by the theater door, and Breaker looks hard into his eyes.
No room at the inn, huh? So happens I know a place that'd be happy to have your business. You interested?
He flashes Breaker a toothless smile and offers up a steel hip flask. Breaker nods and takes it.
Thanks to good neighbors.
Our best natural resource.
Willie takes back his flask and heads off into the wind and the sand.
It's just a little ways out of town. Follow me.
Breaker watches for a moment, peering into the darkness, and takes a deep breath and follows. The motel office. Wanda gazes out the window. Homer shouts at her as Danny looks on sadly.
God damn it, woman. I'm tired of you arguing with me.
That man was money in the bank. Christ's sake, we got bills to pay.
Not with his money. Guys like that's trouble. I don't want no part of it. I swear to God, woman, one of these days I'm gonna...
You're gonna what?
Thunder, lightning, bright white, almost blinding. Homer and Wanda turn toward the office doors. Head bowed, the salesman enters, closing the door behind him. On his sample case, we see in bold relief, Holy Rapture Bible Company, words to live by. The salesman raises his head, revealing his handsome, chiseled features and wise, angelic Billy Zane eyes.
I think that's in the script.
Evening, madam. Sir,
That's Billy
wonder
Ray.
if y'all could help me. I'm looking for a young man somewhat disheveled. Might you stop by?
Salesman looks down at Danny and winks, because that's not creepy. Dirt road. Willie and Breaker make their way down a dirt road. Collars up to protect them from the blowing sand. Ahead are lights. A building tape shapes. Looks like an old Spanish church. A neon sign blinks by the front door. The Mission.
Nice night for a walk. What'd you say your name was?
I didn't. Is that where we're going? That church?
Jesus. That's
Drink.
I'm gonna drink all of it. That's it. Mind you, it ain't a church no more. They decommissioned it in the 50s due to lack of interest. These days, it's kind of a boarding house.
Another burst of lightning. In the flickering white flash, we can see just how beat up it is.
Looks downright homey.
Angle in the movie theater as the salesman looks up at the marquee. He looks at the theater entrance and sniffs at the air. He turns, looks off in the direction that Willie led Breaker. In the church, there are still a lot of churchy touches. A second floor has been added to the sanctuary area with a stairway leading up towards one wall. A dining room now occupies the former altar. By the stairway is a small registration desk. The place has seen better days. Cordelia Grant, a carefully made up 30-year-old knockout, looks over her shoulder and tugs at her stockings.
My line straight.
Irene Galvin, the proprietress, eyes Cordelia from behind the registration desk. Irene's past her prime and fading fast. She stubs out a half-smoked cigarette.
Straight as they'll ever be. Geraldine!
Geraldine emerges from the dining room area, rubber gloved, hands covered in grease, hair tied up in a bandana. She's a petulant 17, pretty, mixed up. Okay, I'll drink on that.
Yeah.
Pretty, comma, mixed up, desperate for a little affection or the next best thing.
What is it now?
Did you finish washing Cordelia's sheets?
Yeah, they're downstairs. Couldn't get all the stains out though.
What's that supposed to mean?
You march downstairs and get Cordelia's laundry, then bring it up to her room.
I just got started on the stove. I can't do two things at once.
You'll do what I tell you to do.
I'll take care of it, Irene.
Wallace Enfield, a balding, plain-faced postal clerk, comes down the stairs. Geraldine heads for the dining room.
It's very sweet of you, Wally.
Enfield smiles shyly and heads for the basement door beneath the staircase. It chimes. A gust of wind blows through the room as Uncle Willie sweeps in the front door, followed by Breaker.
Gangway, I'm bringing in business.
What kind of business?
Well, I think he's looking for his own room, Cordelia. Cordelia, you know, she's one of our unnatural resources.
You been out drinking, Uncle Willie?
You must be kidding. I'm clean as a whistle, Irene. Hell, we got an agreement, don't we?
Irene continues to stare at him, unconvinced. She slowly turns towards Breaker. He approaches the desk.
I understand you have a free room.
How long you want it for?
The night. I'll be moving on in the morning.
I never rent short term and never to strangers.
Breaker has reached the desk. He produces a $100 bill from his pocket.
Think you could make an exception?
Love this.
What a douchebag.
Exception noted.
He throws the book. Breaker a pen. He sets down the 100 and signs. Irene takes the bill and turns the book and peers at Breaker's signature.
Enjoy your stay, Mr.
Breaker.
Irene tries to reconcile the name with the signature and gives up.
Nice handwriting. Geraldine!
In the kitchen, Geraldine sits at the table, arms folded, pissed off.
Geraldine, I mean now. Geraldine!
I'm trying to get the stove clean. Oh my gosh, how you get my work done if you keep bothering me?
I think that's a drink.
It's definitely a drink. Though.
Drink.
So good.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
Okay. She sees Breaker with a sudden rush of self-consciousness. Irene notices Geraldine's clean rubber gloves.
Working hard, are you? Show Mr. Breaker up. Oh, shit. Show Mr. Breaker up to number 5. Okay. Then put some dinner on for him. And when you get done with that, I got a few other jobs for you. And this time I'm going to watch you.
One big happy family.
Bedroom. A small room, shabbily furnished. Breaker stands at the door. Geraldine crosses towards the window. She pulls the rag off her head and shakes out her hair. She really is pretty.
What else can I tell you? Now, breakfast starts at 7. A little later if I forget to wake up. Bathrooms just down the hall.
You can leave it open.
Your room. I suppose you want some time to unpack?
After dinner, maybe.
Nice tattoo. Where'd you get it?
Among my travels.
Ooh, really? You travel a lot? Ever been to Europe?
Sure.
Yeah, Paris?
You ask a lot of questions, don't you?
I guess I'm just naturally curious.
Geraldine smiles seductively and heads for the door. She passes Breaker a little too close for comfort. Breaker sits at the dining room table later. Uncle Willie sits across from him and country music plays from the old Wurlitzer in the corner.
Oh, here we go. And of course, you know, back then when the mine was still open, this town was a hell of a nice burg. I mean, matter of fact, this place here, well, the Mission, this used to be the place to stay.
Geraldine enters from the kitchen and sets a plate of stew in front of Breaker. Looks more like gray congealed glop.
I hope you like it.
Of course, things have gone a bit downhill since then.
Breaker eats, senses Uncle Willie cringing across from him.
You want some?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to stare. I was just thinking, what a brave man you are, you know? Eating that stuff at the nearest doctor an hour away. That's a long way to crawl with your belly in a sling.
Geraldine re-enters, sets a glass of water down in front of Breaker.
You like it?
It's okay.
Oh, just okay.
Yeah, just okay.
A cat leaps onto the table.
Christ sakes, Geraldine, get your goddamn cat off the table. All done yet? Okay.
Oh, wait. Yep.
That's it. That's
Was that the one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Oh,
It's
shit.
fucking cat something.
Wait, no,
Or
I
no,
don't
it's
think,
put
I
that-
don't think that's the line.
It's put that
down the
goddamn cat down.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
Stay on
I
the
was like,
goddamn cat.
just getting ready. Just getting ready.
we got to get ready.
Pre-gaming this shit.
Yeah.
Geraldine gently picks up the cat. Angry, she heads for the kitchen too.
Come on, Cleo. We'll go kill her together.
Kill,
Oh!
drink.
Oh,
Jill.
gosh.
I forgot about that.
Jill.
You guys have had it pretty easy for the first 14 pages.
Oh, thank you, social media audience. Thank you.
Hey, Breaker, one big happy.
What's a-
Outside, a sweep of headlights as a
page are we
vehicle
on?
pulls up and Breaker tenses again, stands and looks to the front door. As it opens and Roach enters. In his late 20s, Roach is a tough-looking pretty boy. He's got a paper bag with a bottle in it in his hand.
Cordelia.
You kept me waiting, Roach, honey.
You know what they say, longer the wait, the sweeter the date.
Hey.
He pulls a bottle of generic brand champagne from the bag.
Why, you sweet thing.
Cordelia wraps her arms around him and Roach grabs for her ass and sees Breaker watching.
What are you staring at, buddy?
He's staring at the luckiest guy in town, that's what.
Cordelia pulls Roach towards the stairs. As she does, Enfield emerges from the basement carrying a basket of folded laundry. Hearing Cordelia giggle, Enfield looks up just in time to see Roach and her disappear upstairs. Irene is reading the ticket and heading back to the registration desk.
Set that basket down near the stairs, Mr. Einfield. Whoa, shit. Filed. And filed. Enfield.
Infield, ma'am.
She'll need them clean sheets soon enough.
Dejected, Enfield sets it down. Breaker slowly sits down again and glances at Uncle Willie.
You expecting somebody, mister?
Breaker laughs softly to himself and goes back. Just like that. A vibration of some kind causes the surface to ripple, accompanying the vibration and the sound of distant squeaking. Breaker is still there. Uncle Willie still across from him. From above them comes the sound of squeaking bed springs and the chandelier always a little with every thrust from upstairs. In the parlor, Enfield sits in on one of the ratty sofas looking miserable. Geraldine emerges from the kitchen and she freshens Breaker's coffee as an exceptionally passionate moan carries from upstairs.
Moan!
Actress. Ugh.
You ready, Geraldine?
For Christ's sake, Irene, it's late.
Remind me, would you? This program you're on is called Work Release, isn't it? Amazing. Girl's got no goddamn gratitude. If I hadn't made a place for her, she'd be behind bars or dead.
As Irene starts back into the parlor, the front door chimes. The front door opens and a pair of dusty black Oxfords enter. The salesman sits down his display case.
Evening, ma'am. You wouldn't happen to have a free room, would you?
Got one. How long you staying?
Breaker watches tensely.
Well, that depends. God-fearing town like this could keep me busy quite a while, if I'm lucky.
Room's $20 a night. Just sign in and I'll get the girl to show you up to your room.
Thank you. Oh, actually, I'd like to get a bite to eat, too, if it's not too much of an inconvenience.
Not at all. Geraldine!
He leads the salesman into the dining room. By the doorway is a coat rack. As he passes it, the salesman sits down his display case, revealing for the first time the other side, which is covered with colorful travel stickers, obscure markings, and symbols. Geraldine emerges.
What?
We've got one more for dinner.
What's on the menu tonight?
We got stew. That's it.
Salesman looks up at Geraldine, smiles at her, and something in his smile or in his eyes grabs hold of Geraldine's anger and melts it.
Then I'll have stew.
Geraldine regards the salesman uncertainly. She half smiles herself, turns and heads into the kitchen.
Sweet girl.
Oh, yeah.
So, what you selling, mister?
All the good books, my game.
Must be a tough racket these days.
Oh, it's challenging. There's sinners everywhere. Still, I've sold all over the world.
Geraldine re-enters and sets the stew in front of him.
Paris?
Oh, quite a few times. City of Lights, they call it. You know, it's got to be the most romantic place in the world.
I've always wanted to go there.
It's okay. If you like frogs.
Damn.
You're finished, right?
Snatches away his unfinished coffee and heads back in the kitchen. Breaker is oblivious, his eyes still glued to the salesman. He shifts uneasily.
Where are you from, mister?
Down under.
You mean Australia?
Breaker stands. The salesman gets to his feet. Breaker hesitates, and the salesman smiles back at Uncle Willie.
Yeah. You know, salesman's always tough. The key is knowing who the customer is, and of course, giving them a product he can believe in. Now, for instance,
He reaches for his display case and swings it onto the table.
oh my God.
A row of Bibles are set into the customized molded interior. Amidst them is an empty space shaped like a crucifix. The salesman gazes hard at Breaker. He speaks loudly as if for everyone else's benefit.
Someone's been in my case. Very valuable piece of merchandise has been stolen.
Someone stole something? Geraldine, get in here.
What now?
Poor Geraldine.
Were you in this man's case?
What?
God damn it. This man's missing something.
I got nothing to do with it.
Yeah? We got any other tried and convicted thieves in this house?
Well, now hold on, please, ma'am. Now don't rush to judgment. Perhaps there's another explanation.
Mister, I swear if she took something of yours, I'll get it back, even if I have to beat it out of the little bitch.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, I got
That's it.
She said she got me messed up.
Fuck you. I didn't do it.
Oh, yeah.
Irene slaps Geraldine. Damn! Geraldine is stunned. Irene rears back to hit her again, but the salesman grabs Irene's hand.
Ma'am, now you really ought to have a little more faith in people.
He's right. She didn't take it. I did.
Well, that's mighty honest of you. For a thief.
What the hell? You want it back? You can have it.
Look out!
Salesman hurls his display case at Breaker, knocking him backward as Bibles tumble to the floor. The salesman charges forward, grabbing Breaker. Breaker pushes the salesman back. He smashes into the table. Wood, china, and stew go everywhere. Breaker whips a gravity knife from his pocket, opens it, and lunges for the salesman. Breaker stabs at the salesman's eyes. The salesman clutches Breaker's hand, struggles. The blade gets closer, closer. Suddenly, the click, click of a round being chambered into a pump-action shotgun.
God damn it. Drop it, or I'll drop you.
Irene presses the barrel of a Remington 12 gauge to the back of Breaker's head, and Breaker does not move.
Now!
Breaker drops the knife to the floor and steps back. Geraldine helps the salesman to his feet.
I think that it was her noise.
And then Geraldine concernedly asks.
Her lips moved, but it didn't go through.
Are you okay?
There we go.
There we go.
I just didn't hear it.
Stay away from him.
Move again and I'll kill you.
Kill, Drake.
Kill.
Oh, kill.
Oh, kill.
On your knees.
Okay.
Now. Willie, call the sheriff.
Highway. The wind and sand whip through the charred, twisted remains of the two Firebirds. A patrol car, its light flashing, sits nearby. Sheriff Tucker, a beefy good old boy, squats by one of the Firebirds, poking at a pile of blackened remains. Some of them look human, others like something animal. Tucker's overeager deputy, Bob Martell, steps over from the patrol car, and as he walks, he plays with a lighter. He picks up what looks like a charcoal antler.
Must have been carrying game on the hook.
Better not have been. It's 2 months till deer season.
Well, too late to give him a ticket now, Bob. If you feel better, you can shoot their ashes.
You know, that's exactly what I was thinking of doing.
The radio squawks.
You do read me like a book, don't you?
Yeah, comic book.
There's that witty banter that we needed at the beginning of the church. Geraldine sits on the couch beside the salesman, bandaging his bloody hand. Enfield and Uncle Willie sit nearby. Irene stands by the registration desk, cigarette dangling from her lips, shotgun aimed at Breaker, who sits on the floor. Breaker holds a handkerchief to his forehead and stares at the salesman. The salesman smiles at Geraldine as she finishes with his bandage.
You should see if any of your other guests need help.
He tried to kill you. Drank.
Chill.
I refill at the right time.
Oh. Well, now he's a sick
Wow.
man. All right, he needs help. As a good book says, he who helps in the saving of others saves himself. Oh, and while you're in there, I'd appreciate it if you look to see if he has my property on his person.
What exactly am I looking for?
Well, that's a religious artifact. Not worth a lot of money, but that means a lot to me.
Jesus. Oh, he's bleeding all over the place.
Let him bleed. You'll clean it up later. I don't want you touching him.
Geraldine glances back at the salesman and shrugs, and a sweep of headlights cross the room. Geraldine goes to the front door and opens it.
Well, hey, Sheriff.
Geraldine, you behaving yourself?
Tucker enters. Martell is right behind him, and Tucker quickly takes in the scene.
Well, looky here, Bob. Irene's finally got herself a man.
That's more than your wife's got, Tucker. This bastard busted up my place trying to kill this fella.
Kill.
Yeah.
Hell.
Tried to cut out his eyeballs with this.
Tucker takes the gravity knife and flashes the blade in and out of its handle. The salesman stands and approaches Tucker.
Sheriff, this man admitted to stealing my property, and I'd deeply appreciate it if you could arrange for him to return it immediately. I'm sure he's still got it on him.
I'll see what I can do. Anyone else in tonight?
You got them all. Cordelia's up in her room, but she didn't see anything.
Is Cordelia alone?
Roach is with her. Roach.
Leave him alone, Bob.
Hey, we got an investigation going on down here. We need all the witnesses we can get.
Tucker rolls his eyes in surrender as Martell bounds up the stairs, and Tucker looks down at Breaker.
What's your story, friend? You some kind of badass, is that it? I like badasses. It's a challenge, getting the truth out of them.
You don't want the truth? You wouldn't believe me if you heard it.
Martell moves quickly to Cordelia's door, and the sound of lovemaking can be heard inside. He smiles to himself and holsters his .44, reaches for the knob, and throws open the door.
Freeze!
Cordelia, who's sitting atop Roach, screams in mid-thrust and covers herself.
Bob, you son of a bitch!
What the fuck you think you're doing?
Fuck! Drink!
Oh,
I forgot about fuck.
Ugh.
I was going to ask
Okay.
you to do the same thing. Get your clothes on now. I'm talking to you, Roach. On the other hand, if you want to stay like that, that's fine with me.
Cordelia grabs a pillow and throws it at Martell. In the parlor, Tucker cradles the phone receiver against his shoulder as he jots down notes.
Thanks a lot, Carl. Well, it looks like you picked the right man, buddy. You got quite a rap sheet, Mr. Breaker. Little burglary, little grand theft auto. I expect the folks back in Baltimore will be happy to hear that we found you, seeing as how you skipped bail on them. Where you been the last 5 years?
On the road?
Uh-huh. I've seen your road work. I'm guessing you had something to do with that mess out there on the 14.
Martell enters with Cordelia and Roach.
Hey, Sheriff, you'll never guess what these two were doing upstairs.
Started to drag you away. We'll get to...
I don't drink.
Sorry to drag you away. We'll get this attended to and you can get back to your business. I'm assuming it was personal business, Cordelia. Honey, would you mind getting me a glass of water?
Sheriff, I don't want to make any more of this than necessary. Now, I know for a fact this man has my property on him. If I could just get it back, I'd be willing to let the whole thing go. Heck, I'd even be willing to pay for the damage myself.
What do you think, Irene? Save us a lot of paperwork. I mean, we still got to take him in, seeing how he's wanted.
Whatever. Sooner I get my place back to normal, the better.
Let's have it.
I don't know what he's talking about.
You don't.
Tucker grabs Breaker, yanks him to his feet, and slams him hard against the wall. He searches Breaker roughly, tears open Breaker's shirt, and finds a leather shoulder pouch. It's empty.
What was in here?
Some loose change, a couple of mints, the key to the gate of heaven.
You know, you are starting to piss me off.
When the saint's patience has limits, Breaker, what have you done with my property?
Did what every thief does.
All eyes turn to Geraldine. She sits down Tucker's glass of water, and nearby is the chair Breaker sat on.
When the shit hits the fan, you stash the loot.
She flips the chair over, revealing a strangely shaped relic jammed beneath the seat. The relic is iron and bone, its worn surface covered with carved runes from a dozen ancient tongues. The bottom portion forms a key. Geraldine pulls it free.
Told you.
He did it with everyone sitting here. You got fast hands, but not fast enough.
Well, you don't know what this means to me, Geraldine. What it means to us all.
He approaches. She hands the key towards the salesman. The salesman calls back, doesn't take it. He opens his case and holds it up.
Would you mind just putting it in there for me?
Geraldine shrugs, goes to the key, and puts the key in the case. Suddenly, Breaker lunges, knocking Tucker aside. He snatches the key from Geraldine and thrusts it into the salesman's face. The salesman dodges the key, steps back defensively, eyes and mouth glowing. He turns and smashes through the nearby window.
Son of a bitch!
He takes Breaker hard upside the head with the butt of his revolver, and Breaker goes down, dropping the key. Tucker turns his gun on Breaker.
Bob, run outside. See if that salesman fella out there. Damn, paperwork. I'm throwing the book at your ass.
Martell heads for the door. Breaker groans painfully and reaches for the key, and Tucker puts down on his hand.
Let me finish him!
Shut up!
You don't know what you're dealing with!
I said shut the fuck up. Freak. Irene, call an ambulance.
He does.
It's dead.
What?
It's dead. The line's dead.
What are you talking about? I just called the station.
He tries the phone, and it's dead, just like she said 4 times.
Right?
She's back to the dining room door. Looking down, she sees one of the salesman's Bibles. She bends down, picks it up. Martell re-enters.
Salesman's gone, Sheriff.
What do you mean he's gone?
I mean, he's gone. He wasn't there.
Sheriff, give me the key. He'll kill all of us unless you give it to me.
Kill is one, right?
Kill.
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 Bye.
Kill. That's right. Kill.
Kill. Mm-hmm.
Now I'm called Sheriff instead of Tucker. I'm assuming that's still me.
That's still you.
Listen, Irene, keep an eye on that son of a bitch. I'm going out to the unit and call for an ambulance.
Don't go out there, Sheriff. They're waiting for you.
Hey, well, who the hell are they?
He wants to know who they are. The Australians, of course, like the man said. Look down.
Tucker grunts and heads for the door. As he passes Martell, he hands him the key.
Watch that, Bob.
Oh, shit. Sheriff,
Bitch.
don't go out there.
Geraldine opens the salesman Bible, and her eyes open in shock. Fine onion-skinned paper, freshly printed black ink, and every word reversed. The entire Bible backwards. Tucker reaches the front door, and suddenly the salesman appears in front of him. Startled, Tucker opens his mouth. The salesman rams his fist through it and right out the back of Tucker's head. But before he does, Tucker gets out one last word. And what is it?
I don't know. What is it?
What is it?
No, you were supposed to improv there, Frank.
Oh,
Is that the raw part? Where do we go?
Oh,
Rawr.
I mean,
Oh, the sexy cat.
Cordelia Cordelia screams horrified. Roach screams even louder. Irene gasps. Martell shocks and fumbles for his gun. The salesman tries to pull his hand free and rips Tucker's head from his body. His body crumbles to the floor. The salesman turns towards Martell, and Martell pulls out his gun, points it, and freezes.
Give me the key, god damn it!
Breaker goes for the key, and as he does, the salesman steps forward, swings at Breaker with Tucker's head, and sends Breaker reeling into Irene. Breaker and Irene crash into the registration desk, and Geraldine snatches the key off the floor. With a grunt, the salesman pulls Tucker's head from his fist and grabs the sample case and opens it.
Geraldine, I don't want to hurt anybody else. Now give me the key, and I'll go.
Geraldine hesitates, tries to fight it, loses, and starts to place the key in the salesman's sample case. Breaker surges forward, grabs the key, and puts it in the salesman's face. The key erupts, a blinding burst of white hot light. The salesman screams in agony, his face scorched and sizzling where the key touched it. Sample case in hand, he stumbles backwards out the front door. A moment of horrified silence. Then the sweep of headlights through the front door, several headlights, and the sound of several vehicles approaching. Geraldine goes to the front door, stopping at Tucker's body, and she looks out.
Got company.
4 black Pontiac Firebirds have just pulled out up front. Each bears the name Holy Rapture Bible Company as the salesman's sample case. Dust swirls around the cars as the doors open and 20 associates get out, taking up positions between the cars and the front door. All wear black business suits. A burst of lightning reflects off their bestial eyes. The salesman emerges from among them.
All right. Looks like it's time for the hard sell.
He hands out a couple of tire irons to the nearest associates, and they go to work on the patrol car and on the shiny new pickup truck beside it. The others have joined Geraldine at the door.
You fuckers know my truck.
Fuckers.
Oh, fuck, there's one.
Roach starts towards out of the house, and Breaker grabs him just as Wall Street yuppie associate lunges for Roach.
Get back!
Breaker kneels, pulls the gun from Tucker's holster, and empties it at the yuppie associate. The yuppie associate's eyes explode, a gush of black ooze, and a sudden white-hot surge that suits from the empty eyes. So, okay, I just said a few fuck-ups. Ashes into the door frame and dissipates. Crash! A fat rockabilly associate smashes through one of the windows. I kind of hate that these were just all demons and not rockabillys and business people like it is in the script. I wanted to see a fat rockabilly.
Right?
You're looking at one right here.
Oh.
Put your suit on, Jeremy. Put your suit on.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Irene! Shoot him! Get his eyes!
Irene turns, still in shock. Her gun goes off, blasting a hole in the ceiling, and plaster dust rains over them. Breaker lunges for Tucker's body and grabs 2 more bullets from Tucker's belt, loading them and spinning and firing. The rockabilly is blasted back out the window, his eyes lost in a gush of black, oily blood. The white surge smashes in the side of the building just outside the broken window, and Geraldine grabs Uncle Willie and charges to the dining room.
Come on. We can make it out the back door.
In the kitchen, Geraldine throws open the back door, and a burst of lightning reveals a Depression-era grandma. Grandma grabs Geraldine by the throat, and she gasps. Zip! Breaker's gravity now sails past Uncle Willie's ear and smashes into one of Grandma's eyes. Grandma screams in agony as Breaker steps backwards, pulls his knife free.
Crazy Australian hag.
Grandma collapses back in the darkness as Geraldine slams the door shut.
Well, maybe you haven't noticed, but these guys ain't from fucking Australia.
Breaker nudges him aside. He pulls out the key, uncaps the top of it. It's a hollow vessel with red liquid in it. Breaker kneels by the door and spills a single drop on the door frame. With a hiss, the tiny drop of blood comes to life, glowing. It spreads in opposite directions, following the contours of the door frame, meeting at the top.
Those things can only get in man-made entrances. They can't pass through this stuff and stay in one piece.
What are those things? What the hell is that stuff?
It's blood.
In the parlor, Irene stands guard by the now closed front doors, and behind her, Martell is sunk to his knee.
It's okay, Bob. Nothing you could have done.
Jesus, Irene,
Wow.
I froze. I just froze.
In the parlor,
You did.
Cordelia Roach and Enfield are huddled by the stairs.
This is bullshit. Listen, I got nothing to do with this. Let me go.
Roach, no!
As he tries to climb out the window, he steps out.
You hear me? I want no part of this.
Oh, Roach, please come back inside.
An MTV Video Babe associate lunges from the darkness, grabs for Roach. He screams, fights her off, and climbs back in the house. The babe goes for Cordelia, and she screams. From the broken window, he turns, sees Martell, and races to him, pulling Martell's gun from his holster. He runs back to the window. The babe has Cordelia in a death grip. Enfield appears at the window.
Let her go!
The babe swings Cordelia to one side, and he fires. The bullet nails the babe in the chest. Black blood spreads across the babe's suit, but the wound has no effect, and Breaker runs in from the kitchen.
The eyes! Shoot her fucking eyes!
Fucking.
Cordelia
fucking.
throws the window, and the babe is dragged closer. Enfield jams Martell's magnum down the babe's head and pulls the trigger twice. Eyes squeezed tight. Black blood spatters his face. Then a flicker of white light as the babe's soul shoots out and dissipates. Cordelia climbs back inside. In the parlor, Cordelia burns a hole in Roach with her eyes while Enfield bandages her wounded arm. Martell sits on the floor leaning against the registration desk, and Irene sets the toolbox on the registration desk, digging into it and pulling out a couple shotgun shells. Uncle Willie and Geraldine sit on the stairs watching Breaker, and Breaker spills a small drop of blood by the open window. The window frame seals and glows. The front door and the other windows of the room were already sealed.
Kind of blood is it?
Look, mister, there's a lot of weird shit going down here. Now, goddamn it, who are these people?
They're demons.
Demons?
Well, demonized. The salesman is a demon from hell.
Ask your question.
The others were human until he seduced them. That's how it works. Look, we can survive this if we stay here until sunrise. Daylight fucks them up pretty good. And if they do get in, you have to destroy the eyes.
I think he's right. When I shot that woman in the chest, it didn't even slow her down.
I don't want anyone going out there again. If you do, you're staying out. For all we know, you could be one of them.
Is that so? What are you going to do? Shoot us?
On sight.
In the eyes.
Yeah.
Exactly. I've got to seal the windows upstairs.
There's something I don't get. The salesman guy said all he wants is the key. If we give it to him, will they go away?
That's not going to happen.
The trophy room. Breaker has just blood sealed the window and he hears a sound at the door. Geraldine enters.
There's something I don't understand. You knew this guy was coming, didn't you?
I had an inkling.
Then why didn't you use that key thing on him the minute he walked in the door?
Never saw his face before tonight. Strange thing is, I think I wanted to see his face.
They go into
Plot
Geraldine's room.
thinkings.
Okay.
Wait, what?
In Geraldine's room now.
Oh, sorry. Oh, fuck. I don't think I read this part. Hang on. Is this sexy time? Is this like this your room?
Take it how you want. It's,
Okay.
you bring your character, sexy time, you do it.
This your room? Sorry for what I said before about your cooking.
Okay.
No, it was uncalled for.
Sorry what I said about you not being nice, I mean.
You weren't too far off. What'd they get you for?
What? Are we comparing notes? I stole some money from a place I was working, plus I was a runaway, but they gave me a choice. I could sign up for this work program or go back to my folks. No way in hell I was gonna do that.
Uh-huh.
He keeps on sealing.
Yep.
Burst of lightning. Breaker turns. A bright white cross flickers on the wall. Breaker, another burst of lightning projects through the stained glass cross. Just a lot of cross imagery here with some lighting. And now we're in a flashback to Mount Golgotha and Palestine. Right on the cross. One of three. A flash of lightning silhouettes 3 men being crucified. A man stands beneath and carries a case much like the salesman. Note, we will not see the salesman's face in this scene. The salesman draws 2 objects from beneath his robe. One's a sword, the other is a key. Adjusting, we find another man beside the salesman, a gaunt, hollow-cheeked thief. The salesman hands the key to the thief. Turning, the salesman holds up his sword, presses the tip to the ribs of the man on the cross. It's Jesus!
What?
Oh, snap!
Blood. Christ's blood drips to the sand. Thunder, a burst of lightning. Then in the parlor, Cordelia slowly approaches Roach.
Oh shit! You're a bastard, you know that?
I ain't the one who tried to kill you.
Kill?
Kill.
Oh, kill.
Shithead! You left me out there.
Who told you to follow me?
You're absolutely right. Nobody. At least now I know who my friends are.
Whores don't have friends.
Savage.
Shamer, fuck you.
Walks past the stairs and heads for the dining room like a real piece of shit as Breaker comes down, followed by Geraldine.
That's all the doors and windows sealed. Are there any other ways into this house?
You mean aside from the doors and windows?
Just looks at Martell. Martell still sits by the registration desk staring at Tucker's body.
Bob. It is Bob, right?
Bob.
Give me a hand with the sheriff's body. Won't do us any good staring at it all night.
Breaker crosses to Tucker's body, glances back at Martell, and he nods.
Irene, is there some place we can put him till morning?
There's a bathroom the other side of the dining room.
Good enough.
Breaker and Martell carefully lift Tucker's body. Swallowing hard, Enfield picks up Tucker's head.
Geraldine, let's go get some coffee on. Looks like we got a long night ahead of us.
In the kitchen, Irene and Geraldine enter and she makes coffee. A squeak. Cleo the cat pops in via the pet door. Geraldine kneels, picks him up as Breaker enters the kitchen.
Where the hell you been, Cleo? Well, the last place you should be tonight is outside.
Breaker turns, gazes at Geraldine and Cleo, and he looks at the pet door, pulls Tucker's gun from his waistband and points it at Geraldine.
Put the cat down! Or put down the cat!
That's our drink, right?
That's the finish.
That is.
Oh, fuck. I just got a new one.
See, it always happens.
I poured so much vodka. It's so
Oh my God, I'm almost done with this wine.
Notice that.
Oh, God.
Damn.
It's so cold.
Come on, salesman. You a demon. Get it together.
Oh, I got tears in my eyes. That's some fucking strong ass gasoline.
Here we go. Let's take it back from put down the goddamn cat again.
The first one?
The second one.
Put down the goddamn cat!
No.
Put it down! The salesman can possess any kind of animal. Cats included.
Oh, fuck you. You're not shooting her.
Right. Oh no, wait. Let me mix this.
And grabs Breaker's leg and digs in. Irene screams, panicking. The cat runs from the room. Breaker tries to pull away. The associate's grip is too strong. Its nails draw blood. Breaker whips the cap off the key, spills blood onto the pet door frame. The blood hisses and seals the frame. As it does, the hand is suddenly severed. The hand shrivels, suddenly metamorphoses into a hideous demon claw, its talons still embedded in Breaker's leg. Breaker pulls the claw from his leg, tosses it, and heads for the kitchen door.
Where'd that fucking cat go?
God damn you.
Breaker enters the dining room, sees the cat race into the back hall, and skitter through the door to the basement stairs. Breaker runs after it, makes the basement door, and goes down the stairs with Geraldine following.
God damn it, Breaker, leave her alone.
In the parlor, Cordelia heads for the dining room, passing Roach, and Roach looks to Enfield, who's sitting on the couch in the parlor. Roach heads for Enfield.
You and me have to talk.
Look, Roach, I don't want any trouble with you.
We gotta get out of here now.
But Mr. Baker said,
Fuck him.
Oh, shit.
This is his battle. No sense in us dying over it. We're gonna take the key from him, give it to that salesman guy.
Jesus, Roach, haven't you caused enough trouble?
Excuse me, but I'm talking to my friend Wally.
He's not gonna help you. And even if he did, I wouldn't let you get away with it.
Roach turns and grabs Cordelia by the hand and pulls her towards the stairs.
Excuse us, Wally.
Enfield starts to follow, thinks better of it, and watches them. Breaker scans the basement. A single bulb swings overhead. Boxes and old furniture are piled everywhere. Geraldine steps in front of Breaker, and the others watch from the bottom of the basement steps.
Breaker, please don't do this.
Something scuttles.
My cat is not possessed by a monster from hell.
Sorry, kid.
He pushes past her, lifts the corner of an old mattress. Suddenly, Cleo shoots out, tearing into the shadows. In Cordelia's room, Roach throws open the door and pushes Cordelia in ahead of him and slams the door.
Get in my way, and I'll fucking kill you.
That's two.
Double. Oh, Jesus.
Why don't you keep it in your pants for a change? You're gonna end up getting us all killed.
I'm warning you, bitch. Oh. I'm warning you, bitch.
I'm not afraid of you.
Roach backhands Cordelia into the wall and she collapses in a heap. Roach grabs her hard, hisses into her face.
You better be afraid of me.
He shakes her, pushes her down and exits, slamming the door. Cordelia listens to the sound of Roach's footsteps. When he's well down the hall, she lets herself cry. In the basement, Breaker cautiously approaches the shelf-lined recess in the wall. Suddenly, that goddamn cat leaps out again from behind a row of preserve jars, knocking several to the floor. Ricochets off Breaker's back and leaps to the floor. Breaker whirls, but the cat is already in Geraldine's arm. Breaker and Geraldine lock eyes. Breaker pulls out the key. He reaches towards the cat, touches the key to the cat's back. Cleo meows.
That was a very seductive cat.
She likes it. She likes it. That thing is anointed. She loves it.
Holy.
What was that?
Okay, wait. I gotta re-cue Geraldine.
Where
Drink.
are we?
Nobody knows.
I don't know where we are.
Go drink.
Where are we?
Geraldine.
Is this Geraldine?
Geraldine.
This is Geraldine.
Oh, I didn't hear. I didn't hear
Danny's
that.
not here.
Oh,
You.
Look, where the cat was hiding.
Breaker looks to the bare shelf. Several bricks have crumbled away. There's a hole in the wall of the recess, and Breaker reaches to the hole.
Feel a breeze.
Cordelia continues to sob on her bed.
Cordelia. Seems downright criminal to treat such a pretty girl like that.
Yes.
He thinks because he pays for it, he can do whatever he likes. As if any amount of money could ever really pay for what you were worth.
Oh my
Or
God.
give you what you really want. I know what you want, Cordelia. You want love. Love, tender, warm, unconditional love.
Yes. Yes, I do.
I can give you that love. Cordelia, I'm fairly bursting with it. Let me love you, Cordelia.
The parlor. Roach is straight up the stairs. April watches him.
Ooh.
Where's Cordelia?
In her room, thinking about her attitude problem. You got an answer for me?
Infield doesn't answer. He heads up the stairs and Roach watches him go. His eyes narrow murderously. In the hallway, Infield goes to her door, listens, and knocks softly.
Cordelia?
No answer. He nudges the door open. Infield slowly pokes his head in.
Cordelia.
Cordelia sits by the window, her back to Infield. She's naked. She turns slowly. A flash of lightning forms a halo around her unbelievable porcelain perfect features.
Yes.
Are
I
you?
was hoping you'd come.
mm-mm.
Are you okay?
Better than okay. Wally. Oh,
Infield
fucking
looks
hell.
at her. He can't resist. He approaches, reaches for her. Their hands connect. Cordelia pulls Infield to her, takes his hand, head in her hands, and kisses him. In the basement, Irene hurries down the basement holding the flashlight. She joins the group, huddled by the recess in the basement walls, and gives the flashlight to Breaker. They pulled away the shelves. Breaker cautiously sticks his head into the hole.
Anything?
Looks like a mine shaft.
Well, that's probably what it was. I mean, the whole area is riddled with them. Main camp used to be just over the hill.
We could probably get out. We could probably get out that way. Make it to town before those things out there even knew we were gone.
Not worth the risk.
Now wait one goddamn second.
Couple of hours, the sun will be up.
In a couple of hours, we could all be dead.
No blood curdling scream. Shit!
Head for the stairs. The others bound up the stairs and start towards the hallway. They stop, gaze at something on the floor. A puddle of blood seeps from Cordelia's door. They open it. Cordelia's door bursts open and Breaker enters, his gun held tightly in his hands, and the others cower in the doorway. Cordelia, what used to be Cordelia, still sits by the window. Infield hangs loose in her grasp of a broken, bloodied rag doll. Cordelia's body radiates a kind of translucent light, and the image of the demon pulsates inside of her. Suddenly, her skin peels away, revealing claws and bony spikes. Breaker fires at Cordelia's eyes. Cordelia blocks the bullets with Infield's body. Hissing, she throws Infield's body at Breaker. Infield lands atop Breaker, knocking him back in the hallway and onto the door. Floor, door, something.
It's something.
In the hallway, Cordelia grabs Breaker. He draws the bullet revolver from her wristband. Wristband? Fuck, waistband. Can't get his arms free. Irene points her shotgun at them and tries to clear for a moment. Cordelia.
Damn it!
I can't. I kill them both.
Kill.
Fuck that.
Drink.
Fuck.
Mhm.
Coach. Roach. Coach wrestles the gun. Roach wrestles the gun from Irene. Points it at Breaker and Cordelia. He's about to pull the trigger. Martell pushes away the muzzle. Breaker pulls out the gun, aims it at Cordelia's eye, squeezes the trigger. Click! Out of ammo. Cordelia straddles Breaker's. Her abdomen opens, revealing glistening, pulsating demon lips surrounding rabid demon fangs. Breaker feels for the key, finds it, and opens the top. Cordelia knocks away the key. The key sails through the air. Lands on the stairs, spilling most of its contents, and the blood comes to life, seals up the threshold. Cordelia's demon jaws open wide, and they go for Breaker's face. Irene snatches up in the key, stabs it towards Cordelia. Cordelia whirls away from Breaker, grabs Irene's arm, and snaps it off the elbow. Irene screams, stumbles backwards. Breaker holds out his hand. Martell tosses Breaker the shotgun. Breaker points it at the back of Cordelia's head and pulls the trigger. The front of Cordelia's head explodes outward. Her eyeballs among the gooey mess and flat to the wall. Her soul smashes into the ceiling and evaporates, and slowly Cordelia collapses into a smoldering heap of demon flesh. The parlor, later, now nearly empty. Breaker is clearly worried. Now,
Bill Ray, I gotta say that you read these stage directions like an auctioneer at a cattle sale.
Couch, and then this fine porcelain vase is going. It's a 1900 piece. No.
I now own 3 cows, which is weird. But
On the couch, Martell finishes tying off the tourniquet as he applied to Irene's arm, and Irene moans weakly.
Oh.
Stands up with a bottle of vodka. Nearby, Uncle Willie watches his eyes on the vodka bottle, trying to appear nonchalant.
Dear Irene.
Go ahead.
Geraldine sprinkles a bit of vodka onto Irene's wound, and the vodka drips off Irene's body, stumping onto the floor. Body stump, bloody stump. Irene moans, and so does
Oh.
Shit. She's still bleeding.
We have to get out of here. If she stays here, she'll fucking bleed to death.
Fucking.
It hurts. Christ, it hurts.
Snatches the vodka bottle from Geraldine and gulps at it. Geraldine stares definitely at Breaker, defiantly at Breaker.
I'm with Geraldine. We got to take our chances in the mines.
Did you just say tit? You said tit or tit. You did.
I don't fucking know. I just know I used to work these mines, and if my memory's right, the spur that runs under here, who gives a fuck, right? It's
I say we do it.
What makes you think our friends outside haven't discovered the mines? I won't let you go down there.
I have fucking had it with you telling us what to do. If we want to go out of the fucking mines, we'll go out that way. But I got an idea that'll save us a walk. Just give me 2 seconds.
Yes, Daddy.
I say we give those goddamn things out there the key. Anyone care to join me?
Don't be an
bruh.
idiot. You give them the key, they'll kill you anyway or make you.
Oh my God, this page.
Oh, goodness.
Well, that's what you say. Come on, let's get the goddamn key.
Fine. Try to take it. I'll kill you.
Kill.
Oh my
Who
God.
else wants to die?
Nobody moves. Roach stares hard at Breaker and backs down.
And a whole new bottle.
Fuck you. I'm out of here.
We might as well just drink when Roach talks.
Right.
Martell shoots Geraldine a look, and he helps Irene to her feet. They follow Roach. Geraldine looks hard at Breaker. They follow the others. Willie watches the others go, looks to Breaker, and follows. In the basement, the sledgehammer thuds into where the hole is, filling the air with mortar dust. The hole is nearby, big enough to crawl through. Roach rears back, slams the wall again, and behind him, the others watch anxiously. Martell holds up Irene. Behind them all is Breaker, watching silently. With a grunt, Roach rears back with a sledgehammer, swings, and knocks away a huge chunk of wall. He tosses the sledgehammer aside, dusts off his hands, and picks up Irene's shotgun.
What the hell are y'all waiting for?
Roach grabs Uncle Willie's flashlight, ducks through the hole into the mine, and the others follow. Breaker watches, steps into the hole. Geraldine, flashlight in hand, brings up the rear and starts through the hole.
Geraldine!
Geraldine turns. Breaker hands his gun toward her. She shakes her head.
Think you'll be needing it.
She ducks into the hole. Breaker goes to the hole, watches Geraldine disappear into the hole. He takes out the key and seals the opening. In the parlor, Breaker has taken up a position in the middle of the room. He looks around slowly. His gaze falls onto the tattoo of his arm. We push in on the tattoo, dissolving back to Mount Golgotha on the forearm of the thief. We widen. The thief is reaching upward, catching Christ's blood as it drips from the wound under his ribs. Behind the thief, the salesman watches. The wind freshens, and above them, the sky grows lighter. No, as before, we will not see the salesman's face. The key fills with blood and overflows. The thief closes the key, turns, and the salesman tosses a handful of coins at the thief's feet. The thief kneels, gathers the coins, and the salesman pulls a small iron box from beneath his robes and opens it. Inside the box, a cutout space
Is a dick.
The salesman,
Demon dick.
$75
whole
cents,
page.
go have some fun.
This is just the whole page talking about a demon getting some blood from Jesus. So, into the mine shaft, darkness cut suddenly by the dim, flickering beam of the flashlight. The walls are dank, moist, and thick with cobwebs. A narrow gauge tracks down the center.
Roach.
Silence. Geraldine stumbles forward, peering in the darkness ahead of her.
Martell. Uncle Willie. Shit. Where the hell do y'all go?
Geraldine stops at a junction. A spur leads off seemingly to nowhere. Geraldine shines her flashlight down it and sees nothing. The others have stopped. Roach shines his flashlight ahead.
You sure this is the way out, old man?
No doubt about it. This here's the North Spur. Of course, if we're heading west, then we're going the wrong way.
Well, whichever way we're going, we gotta wait for Geraldine.
You said we're lost?
Well, then again, the North Spur, well, it didn't run east and west. It ran kind of north and south. You know, now that I think of it, the North Spur is probably nowhere near here.
Well, what's that?
Martell points into the distance and a faint line glows at the end of the tunnel.
Geraldine? That you?
They head to the glow. Geraldine chooses the spur to the right. She walks a few steps, stops, and there's a sound somewhere in the darkness like wind. She follows the wall with her flashlight, finds an opening.
Shit, Uncle Willie was right.
Starts forward, stops, aware of another sound, crying. Geraldine shines her flashlight to one side and sees nothing, swings it to the other side, nothing. The crying continues.
Hello?
She turns suddenly, finds in her flashlight beam a small figure huddled against the wall. It's Danny from before.
Danny!
Danny boy.
I'm not gonna hurt you.
Danny recoils from Geraldine's touch. He's terrified.
It's okay. Jesus, what are you doing here?
Danny?
Geraldine turns and shines her flashlight towards the opening, finds Wanda there, shielding her eyes.
Who's here? Have you seen our son?
Homer emerges.
Danny, are you there? Why'd you run away from us, son?
Wanda. Homer?
Geraldine's flashlight beam catches the both square in the face. God damn it. Glints off their eyes as they approach. Their glowing, bestial eyes. Geraldine gasps and stands as powerful hands grab onto her shoulders. Geraldine screams as the salesman pulls her close.
I'm so glad you could join us, Geraldine. I was beginning to think we were wasting our time down here.
Go ahead, kill me. Get it over with. Kill.
Will you? Come on. Why would I do that? I have plans for you.
Oh, kill
You're
again.
going to get me the key. Oh, yes. Because you're my kind of girl, Geraldine. We were meant for each other. Give us a kiss.
Geraldine suddenly smashes her flashlight into the salesman's face. He screams and stumbles. Geraldine grabs Danny and pulls him back through the tunnel. The others have stopped again.
Christ, where the hell are we?
Feels like we're walking in circles.
Oh, well, as
Drink Uncle Willie.
Oh, man. Come on, Willie.
I don't know, there was one spur that kind of turned on itself.
I feel like I'm breathing fire and it's only 9 a.m.
Okay, wait, where are we?
Yeah,
Oh,
Roach.
Uncle Willie.
Is it?
Uncle Willie, Uncle
I
Willie.
missed. Oh shit! All right.
Yep.
Uncle Willie, cue him again.
Oh yeah, here we go.
As a matter of fact, there was, one spur that kind of turned in on it.
You shut up.
Help is here.
The group turns. Roach shines his flashlight and finds Geraldine running towards them, pulling Danny.
The salesman's in the mine.
Shit! Back to the basement, everyone. I said back to the basement, everyone.
Oh wait, she doesn't have arm.
Fucking basement. I'm drinking. I hear you.
A sound like pounded hooves coming at them. Fast. Run, follow. The pounding hooves are gaining on them. Martell struggles to hold on to Irene. He's practically dragging her. Geraldine quickly approaches the turn of the tunnel and she sprints around the corner and nearly into a figure standing there. It's Breaker. He's standing by the entrance, going once, going twice, sold to the basement.
Go! Get in there!
Geraldine ducks through the hole. Roach is right behind her. Martell helps Irene through the hole and the pounding hooves is... Uncle Willie ducks back inside and Breaker backs towards the hole. Suddenly something grabs at him from the other side, spins Breaker, and it's Homer. Talons extended from his fingertips. He rips at Breaker, shredding Breaker's shirt, drawing blood. Breaker swings at him, knocks him back a step or two, and Breaker aims for his eyes. Suddenly another head grabs at him, and it's Wanda. She rips at Breaker's back. Breaker spins, fires twice at Wanda, and turns back to take care of Homer. Click, click. Homer shrugs, smiles evilly, grabs for Breaker. Suddenly a hand reaches through the hole in the wall and yanks Breaker backwards as Breaker is yanked back into the basement by Martell. Homer reaches in after him. His hands and arms fry as they pass through the protective barrier, howling in pain. Hands back. Geraldine clamps her hand over Danny's eyes and Roach fires at Homer's eyes.
Motherfucker!
Homer's eyes explode in a red gush. His soul shoots out, blasting into the wall inside the hole, and the bricks explode and crumble and go all sorts of fucking places.
That one doesn't count.
All sorts of places. Uncle Willie?
Uh-oh.
Geraldine races up the basement steps and charges down the hallway, still carrying Danny. Uncle Willie and Irene are right behind, followed by Roach and Martell. Breaker follows, slams the basement door shut, and shouts to the others.
Keep going up! You hear me? Keep going!
Breaker backs away slowly and his eyes on the door. Suddenly the door explodes off its hinges and two associates, a buzz-cut military associate and a tattooed associate, opposites do attract, I guess, go after Breaker. Moments later, Roach and Martell skitter up the stairs, passing the red liquid seal. Breaker starts up the stairs, and the two associates are right behind. The buzzcut grabs for Breaker. Breaker whirls, smashing the buzzcut hard with his fist. The buzzcut plunges down the stairs. Breaker continues upward, just ahead of the tattooed associate. He reaches the landing, turns towards the liquid seal, and loses his footing. Breaker pitches to the door. Breaker reaches the seal. The tattooed associate grabs Breaker's foot and pulls him. Behind the seal, Breaker's...
You couldn't keep that shit up.
You were doing good, though.
Yeah. Pulls on his end. Martell pulls on his. Breaker grimaces painfully, and
For Christ's sake, somebody help!
Uncle Willie grabs onto Breaker's arm.
Pull, goddammit!
Martell and Uncle Willie give it everything, and they pull Breaker into the sealed area, nearly pulling the associate in as well. And at the last minute, the associate lets go. He hisses at them and slowly backs away, slinking down the parlor. Breaker gulps for air, looks at his shell-shocked compatriots.
I guess you got a told you so coming to you.
Next time, I hope we're all a little more willing to sit tight for a couple hours.
I have no idea what's going on.
Metaphor for
They made it to the second floor. Just know that. Second, third floor.
I actually thought Breaker died a while ago. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, watch the fucking movie after this, guys.
It's a good movie. It is. It is.
It's a very good movie.
And holy shit, it was Jada Pinkett Smith. I found that out yesterday. She's so fucking hot.
I thought you were actually reading a line, so I was like, right back.
He's like, Jada. Okay, wait.
All right.
It's my line. It's my line.
Focus up.
Okay, go.
I could live with that.
How you doing?
Jada's hot.
How you doing?
Been better.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Wait, which way do you want me to do this?
Oh my God.
How you doing?
It's your interpretation. Come on, this is your
Been
role.
better. Been
Where did this
better.
come from? That's not me.
Where'd that kid come from?
He was in the tunnel. Salesman got his parents.
Breaker slithers to the wall and leans heavily against it.
Just what we need. Another mouth to feed.
The lights go out.
Y'all ain't eating no way.
Guess who's gonna make us drink?
I mean, it's like
Who's up
not
to?
even 24 hours and you're worried about feeding a 10-year-old child.
Recon fuckers.
Going fucking.
Oh shit, fuckers.
Roach clicks on
Deputy.
the flashlight. Geraldine clicks on hers.
Deputy, how you fixed for ammo?
Not too good. I'm down to 4.
Great. We got any more shotgun shells?
Not up here.
Shit.
How long you been doing this?
What? Running? Too long. Ever since I got the key.
That been?
While, couple years. It's not
Really?
exactly something I went looking for. More like it found me. After I got out of prison, I left the country and went to Africa to fight. Cellmate told me once they paid good money for foreign mercenaries. I was out in the bush one night, holding down a forward position.
And now we're in the jungle.
Oh, we're in Lao now? How fun. We're in Lao.
And this is when Breaker becomes the guy who is carrying the key. And this is when the guy dies and puts his blood in the little key and gives it to
It's like
That was so
Apocalypse Now,
selfish.
but in,
He ain't give him
it's
no
like Apocalypse
choice.
Now, but in the Congo, not in Vietnam and Laos.
So not the script version, but the movie version. In 8th grade, I did this Breaker monologue in front of my class. Was my
Are you
we had to
fucking
do
kidding me?
had to do a monologue from a movie or a book, and I did Breaker's.
Did you get a prize?
story.
So you really are obsessed with the movie. That wasn't an exaggeration.
So treat it with respect.
Breaker, there's a lot of pressure.
No
Nope.
pressure, no pressure.
Don't care about the 8th grade you.
Ow.
Okay. Gold stars for Breaker. Let's do Breaker. Wait. It's a lot of text for Billy.
Yeah, that's why I just skipped over it.
Oh, we just
Okay, let's get.
we skipping.
Hey, what about
Oh, so we skipping.
Geraldine?
Okay.
I don't see any Breaker text.
And
Okay.
the rebel. Is that the salesman?
I think so.
Is he?
Satan?
Yeah.
No.
No?
The salesman works for him. Apparently, there are quite a few salesmen down there.
Whose blood is in there?
Originally, the blood of Jesus.
Oh, hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Did
That's
someone?
why the salesman wants it.
You see,
What?
redemption opens the gate, and the blood is redemption.
Hallelujah.
His blood and all his blood that's filled its sense. The key.
Breaker reaches into his pouch and it's pretty badly shredded. The key is practically falling out of it.
The key isn't worth anything without blood. But once it's empty, it has to be refilled, and it has to be passed.
I owe you an apology, Breaker.
Are you sure it's not I owe you a fucking apology, Breaker?
Lies.
Wait. What?
You don't owe me anything.
No, I do. I didn't understand what this was all about. Forgive me.
Wow.
I want to help. Of course, I don't want to die in the process. I really don't want to.
None of us do.
Hugs him even tighter. That's right. They're hugging during this.
Caleb have the mushrooms kicked in yet? I'm just curious.
No.
I'm done with y'all. I'm done.
That was
Fifth
last.
Amendment, Caleb. Don't fucking answer that. Fifth Amendment.
This is live.
we were making good time, but you know.
I got an American passport. I know my laws. I know my rights. Fifth Amendment. Don't say
Shit.
It's not fair that Maddie's like up for a new day. We're at the end of ours.
shit. Yeah. No, fuck you. That's like you guys gotta go to bed. I gotta be productive. I literally told my dad not to drop in on me because he's gonna judge me if I'm drunk at 10 a.m.
YOLO.
Wait, where are you?
All right, get it back, Billy.
Okay, here we are on
Oh,
page
shit.
67.
Where is Danny?
We'll find him.
I'll go look in my room.
Mine.
That's where it'll be. I'm sure of it.
I'll check mine and Cordelia's. Bob, you mind?
It's gonna get an STD in my room.
Yeah, I can't hear Billy. All I hear is Mattie.
Oh God.
Wait, okay.
Roach.
I'll keep an eye on the stairs. I'll shout at the sons of bitches try anything.
Breaker nods.
Lies.
Heads off to look for Danny. Geraldine enters and shines her flashlight at the bed.
Danny? Danny!
He hesitates and suddenly aware of music, an accordion playing with a Gaelic verve.
You know, Geraldine, you could try a little patience of a saint.
He got the voice to man voice.
I forgive you for what you did before. Love can have that effect on a woman. Make her zig when you want her to zag.
Oh my God, Jeremy.
But you gotta believe me, Geraldine.
Suddenly, they're in a Parisian cafe.
When I say I love you, I mean, I love you. Do you want Paris? You got it. I'm talking Eiffel Tower. The Arc de Triomphe, the right bank, the left bank, it's all yours, Shadi. And why? Because I love you. After all the shit you've been through, Paris is the least you deserve. I said I wanted a kiss before. What I should have said was, I want a soul kiss.
Nigga, you can take me anywhere.
That's a pretty good picture of your soul, isn't it, Geraldine? You see, I do know you, and I'm the one who can make the hurt go away. Just like that. Say yes, my petit show.
Oh, shit.
Cordelia's room. Martell looks in Cordelia's closet, and Irene sits on Cordelia's bed.
I was also, by the way.
Don't sit on my bed. You're gonna get an STD.
Oh my God.
I got a bad feeling about this, Bob.
Oh my God.
We aren't going to be seeing tomorrow.
That's bullshit. You hear me? Where is that goddamn kid?
Ain't mine.
Scumbags aren't tough enough to kill you.
Thanks.
Kill.
Uncle Willie's room. He closes his door, grabs a broom handle from under his bed, and pokes around the ceiling. A false panel slides open, and 2 feet of cord handle drops free. Willie tugs on the cord, pulling down a set of retractable stairs, and starts to climb.
Mister!
Uncle Willie nearly chokes on his tongue, turns and sees Danny watching him from the corner of the room.
Jesus, Joseph and Mary. You could kill someone sneaking up on them like that.
Kill.
For sakes. What are you hiding out in here for? I ought to tell him where you are. A few more minutes won't make too much difference, will it? Hey, you can keep a secret, can't you?
Oh, creepy Uncle Willie.
Breaker, Martell, and Irene have returned.
No sign of him? It doesn't make sense.
Where the hell's Uncle Willie?
Heads off to his room. As Irene pushes the door open, Martell is right behind her. He shines his flashlight around the room, catches the end of the cord dangle. And in the steeple room, the steeple is filled with cardboard boxes. In a corner sits Uncle Willie, a bottle of cheap whiskey in his hands. There's a case of the stuff next to him. Nearby, Danny sits on the floor with a pile of old EC comic books. Willie turns startled. Yep. As the retractable stairs open, Irene and Martell charge upward.
Christ's sakes, Willie. What the hell are you doing up here?
Looking for the kid.
Don't give me that. You keeping a stash.
At least he found the kid.
More likely the kid found him. He wanted to know what the smell was. Christ.
What?
Christ. I totally forgot about the steeple. I haven't been up here in years, not since my husband left. All this shit's his. Who needed to be reminded of that bullshit?
We tell
should have divorced his ass.
That's true, and we also probably should tell Breaker about it.
Uncle Willie, go downstairs right this second and tell Breaker to get his butt up here and seal this place off. And leave the bottle.
Second floor landing. Breaker, Geraldine, and Roach regard each other nervously.
What the hell you suppose happened to them all?
Takes a step toward Uncle Willie's room. Suddenly, from the opposite direction, something bangs against the side of the house. Breaker, Geraldine, and Roach head towards the sound. They disappear just as Uncle Willie emerges from his room.
Breaker?
He looks around, surprised to be alone. A sound comes from the trophy room, and Uncle Willie heads to it.
You in here?
There's a glow coming from the sealed window and music. Uncle Willie cautiously approaches it and the music gets louder. He stops, gazes at the window in confusion, and the window has become a giant TV screen. On the tube is a smart-looking bar filled with beautiful babes, some dancing, some standing around laughing and drinking. By the bar, more babes. And standing against him in his mining gear is Uncle Willie. He's got a big icy drink in his hand.
After a long, hard one in the mines, there's nothing I like more than a long, hard one.
The babes giggle and snuggle against Uncle Willie. He offers a toast towards camera.
Sure, it burns going down, but nothing gets you fucked up.
Damn.
Is that right, girls?
The girls laugh, smothering Uncle Willie with kisses as he drinks. The camera pans off Uncle Willie and finds a window nearby, a window just like the one in the room. A whiskey bottle floats just outside it, and we push in on the bottle a fifth of long, hard one whiskey, 180 proof.
Long, hard one. It's the quicker fucker-upper.
Oh, shit.
Over ice or straight from the bottle.
We pull
It's
back
like a
quickly.
commercial.
The window is no longer a TV, it's just a window, but the whiskey bottle still floats outside. Uncle Willie gazes at it enthralled, weakening. The salesman standing on the roof reaches for the bottle and pours a glass, offering it to Uncle Willie.
Is looking at you, Uncle Willie.
Uncle Willie licks his lips nervously. Irene stands at the window looking out and she turns towards Martell.
Where the hell is Breaker?
I'll go get him.
He hesitates.
I was just thinking about my husband. Some of the shit he left behind. Bob, start opening boxes.
What?
I packed away a whole bunch of fireworks.
Fireworks, Irene, they're illegal.
For Christ's sakes, Bob.
They can't be too illegal because they go off every 5 minutes throughout the night here in Silver Lake.
Psychological warfare is what that is.
Second floor bathroom. Breaker peers out the window. Roach stands by the door and Geraldine sits on the toilet. She plays with the sink's faucets.
I can't see them. I can't see anything from here.
These things, they can't get through the plumbing, can they?
No. I don't think so.
Holy shit, we got trouble.
Uncle Willie says off stage. They turn toward the door and Breaker charges out, slipping past Roach. Geraldine is right behind them. In the trophy room as Breaker and Geraldine enter.
Uncle Willie?
Uncle Willie turns from the window, the open window. He's got the bottle of whiskey in his hand. It's half empty.
Oh yeah, we got ourselves a whole lot of trouble.
Uncle Willie smiles drunkenly. His eyes glow red. Breaker steps forward, whips out his gravity knife. Uncle Willie hurls the bottle at Breaker's head, and Breaker ducks. The bottle smashes into the wall, knocks loose a pair of antlers nailed to a plaque, and the plaque falls. Uncle Willie charges, grabs Breaker, and drives him hard into the wall. Breaker drops the knife. Uncle Willie's hand grabs Breaker. Breaker struggles, but Uncle Willie is inhumanly strong.
Uncle Willie, stop.
Uncle Willie is oblivious. Sees even harder. Geraldine watches helplessly and glances about, sees a halberd on the wall, goes for it. Breaker fumbles with his pouch. It's empty. Breaker is horrified. Roach has it. He approaches the stairs and goes down a step or two.
Hello?
Several associates move toward the stairs emerging from the dark, and Roach backs upward onto the landing, holds out the key defensively. The associates hesitate. The salesman appears at the bottom.
Oh, hey, why, Mr. Roach? What do you got there?
What's it look like? I want out of here.
Okay, well, let's talk about it.
In the trophy room, Geraldine steps forward, brandishing the halberd.
Willie, let him go.
Uncle Willie glances behind, sees Geraldine, smiles almost sweetly.
Geraldine, you wouldn't hurt me, would you?
Geraldine hesitates. Uncle Willie turns back to Breaker and goes to finish him.
Didn't think.
Geraldine swings. The halberd cuts Uncle Willie's head clean off. His head bounces to the floor and rolls. His hands relax. His body slumps, and Breaker slides to the floor, coughing, gasping for breath. Geraldine, sobbing, drops the halberd, collapses to her knees. Breaker reaches for the knife. Suddenly, Uncle Willie's body surges with renewed life. His hands find Breaker's throat again, and he gasps, struggles. Geraldine watches in horror. Geraldine doesn't understand. She looks about, sees Uncle Willie's head, and Uncle Willie's head is still alive. His mouth curls, his eyes glow. Geraldine lunges for Uncle Willie's head. She picks it up and sees the fallen antlers nearby. Geraldine lifts Uncle Willie's head high and plunges it eyes first onto the antlers. A gush of blood, an explosion of white-hot energy that knocks Geraldine back as it bursts into the floor and dissipates. Uncle Willie's body collapses in a heap, dead as shit. Back on the landing.
I don't know. You ain't gonna kill me.
Kill.
Oh, God. Damn.
Sorry.
Oh, you have my word. You have my word. Frankly, I've been counting on you, Mr. Roach. As far as I'm concerned, the world needs more people like you. You won't object if I kill the others, will you?
Yep.
If it makes you feel good.
If it makes you feel good, do it. I had to do that one.
A whole damn bottle.
Roach thinks about it, nods. He hands the key toward the salesman and he holds it in his hands.
Oh, no. First things first.
The salesman pulls a handkerchief from his pocket, drops it to the floor by the blood seal.
If you don't mind.
Roach shrugs, kneels, and quickly wipes away a bit of the blood, and the rest of the seal immediately vanishes. The salesman opens his case. Roach places the key inside, and the salesman smiles and closes the case.
You're out of here, Roach.
Roach smiles, starts to laugh, heads for the stairs, starts down.
Oh, and Mr. Roach, one more thing. I lied.
A burst of lightning. Two associates are just below Roach. Several more wait at the bottom of the stairs. The two associates grab Roach and pull him downward. Roach screams long and loud as two more American associates. They don't have to be American. Two more associates charge up. One-eyed grandma associate and evidently gangsta associate.
What's a haliberd, you
I'm just
guys?
assuming
Can you
it's-
tell me what is a haliberd? Haliberd? Haliberd?
Haliberd
What the fuck is a haliberd?
I don't know.
I don't even know
I
where
speak
you at.
English. I don't
Just
know what
like
that
a weapon.
is.
It's the shape of the blade.
No one knows what a
Well-
halabar is. I'll Google it later.
The salesman turns,
No.
turns
I
and
didn't
faces
know
the
either.
trophy room.
Hello. Come out, everyone. It's time to party.
An arrow shoots from the trophy room, smashes into one of the salesman's eyes. The salesman screams, pitches back to drop in the case. He hits the banister and goes over. Breaker emerges from the trophy room. He's got the hunting bow. Geraldine's behind him, and he hands another arrow to Grandma associate reaches the landing. Breaker fumbles with the arrow. Boom! A burst of shotgun fire comes from Uncle Willie's room. Shards of glass blast Grandma's good eye into lumpy jello. Her white
Yeah.
hot soul shoots out, smashes back through the window atop the landing as her body collapses back under the stairs. Irene emerges from Uncle Willie's room, shotgun in hand. Martell's right behind her, and he aims at the gangsta associate. Boom!
Boom.
The gangsta's eyes are blown out. His white hot soul follows Grandma out the window, and Martell keeps his gun aimed at the stairway.
Come on, Breaker, move your ass. Get the case and get in here.
Breaker snatches up the case, heads for Uncle Willie's room, and Geraldine's right behind him.
You found ammo?
Next best thing, a little broken glass, some cardboard, shit, cardboard wadding, and a bunch of M80s. Hey.
Hey.
I mean, it's a class 1 misdemeanor in this county, but what the hell? Now I want you all back up into the steeple now.
Oh, fuck. All right.
Yeah, right.
You're still alive, Breaker.
What are you going to do?
I'm covering the rear. That was an order.
Uncle Willie's room. Geraldine heads up the stairs into the steeple, and Breaker looks back at Irene. She turns and hands her shotgun to Breaker.
I can't carry the damn thing and pull myself up the steps.
After you.
Go on. I'll be right there. Go on.
The landing. Martell stands just outside Uncle Willie's door in a military stance, gun pointed at the top of the stairs.
Shit sakes, Bob. You coming or not?
God damn it, Irene. I told you to go up.
I'm not going without you, boo.
Irene!
Suddenly, one of the associates, a punk rocker, lurches from the window by Uncle Willie's door. The associate grabs Irene. She screams. Martell spins. And Irene screams as short as the punk rocker breaks her neck.
Oh,
Oh.
Sure.
Oh, Irene.
Oh, drink my motherfucker.
Oh.
Oh, I like
Fires
Irene.
twice, blows out the punk rocker's eyes. The punk rocker's white hot soul blasts into Martell's chest, knocks him into the floor. Martell gasps for air, rolls to his side, sees movement on the stairway. 6 more associates, the last of them, more quickly upward. Martell clutches the M80s, reaches into his pocket, pulls out a lighter. The associates reach the landing. Martell sweeps the lighter flame over the fuse of the M80s and then fuses light.
Good night, Irene.
nice.
The M80s go off.
Well, wait, hold on. I got to do the bent neck lady thing. Night.
The whole building is rocked by the explosion. Breaker stands by the stairs. Irene's shotgun jammed into his armpit. He glances at Geraldine, and Geraldine hugs Danny, shaking his head. Breaker pulls up the stairs. He sets the shotgun aside, opens the sample case, pulls out the key, holds it close to his eyes.
Only enough for one entrance.
Is that all there is?
That's all.
The window.
Window it is.
Breaker goes to the window, starts to open the key, and suddenly Danny struggles from Geraldine's arm, heads for Breaker.
Danny!
Danny reaches for Breaker. His face is suddenly bloated, his jaws distending.
Danny!
That was talon sprout from Danny's little fingers.
Breaker!
Breaker turns as Danny, now fully demonized, lunges for him. Breaker drops the key, grabs at Danny's demon face to try and fend it off. The Danny demon swats at Breaker, knocking Breaker to the ground. Danny's demon mouth open wide. He bites into Breaker's shoulder, ripping free a solid piece of flesh. Breaker screams. The Danny demon lunges. Breaker dodges, kicking a Danny twist, reaches towards the shotgun as the Danny demon recovers. Lunges again. Breaker jams the shotgun under the Danny demon's chest, pulls the trigger. The blast blows the Danny demon upward. He crashes out the window. The Danny demon plummets to the ground. He turns over, suddenly sprouts a pair of black, leathery wings. Breaker grabs the key, struggles to his feet, and slams the key down on the windowsill. The last of the blood drips onto the windowsill and forms that seal. Danny soars upwards towards the window. As Danny surges past the seal, his body is devoured by the living liquid. The Danny demon screams and pitches digging into Breaker's flesh. With the last of its strength, the Danny demon scores a deep incision from one side of Breaker's gut to the other. The Danny demon shrieks, its flesh melting from its bones. It collapses into a charcoal heap. Breaker groan. Ooh.
Let's all make fun of him, everyone.
Geraldine picks up the key. She regards Breaker tearfully.
I'm so sorry. Breaker, I'm so... This is my fault.
Yes.
I'm the one who brought him in. I'm so sorry.
Taking people kids.
I'll yell at you later. The key. Oh,
Right?
the key.
No, don't die on me, please.
Fill it. Fill the key.
I'm not up to this.
Sure you are. Come on already. Before it gets cold.
Geraldine holds the key towards Breaker's wound. As he does, he touches his tattooed forearm to hers. For a moment, it's as if their flesh has merged. The skin on Geraldine's forearm sizzles. Breaker pulls his arm away. The tattoo is gone from his arm. It's now seared into Geraldine's flesh. Geraldine regards the tattoo with wonderment.
Make me proud.
Breaker manages a painful smile, and just like he evidently did a few pages ago, he dies.
Breaker!
Body.
Finally.
A hissing behind her, Geraldine turns. The blood seal on the window dissolves. Geraldine looks at the key, knows what she has to do. She presses it to Breaker's wound and fills it with Breaker's blood. The blood seal around the window dissolves with a hiss. The blood seal dissolves. The blood seal, that motherfucker's gone. She watches as the key fills. She's frightened but resolved. As the blood fills, it overflows, covers Geraldine's fingers. In the parlor, as the remaining blood seals vanish, the whole place is deathly quiet. Suddenly, the door beneath the folding stairs explodes into the room. From the room below, the salesman slowly rises into the steeple. One eye where the arrow got him is a mess. He looks at Breaker, sees no sign of Geraldine.
Come out, Geraldine. I promise I won't make you suffer much.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Geraldine stands a few feet away between the shadow and the light, naked except for the hand. Listen.
Oh, Geraldine, you must be in exquisite pain. You're just covered in blood.
The salesman hesitates, glances at Breaker again, and sees the huge gaping bloody wound across his abdomen and the bloody footsteps leading to where Geraldine is standing.
Just give us a kiss.
Geraldine grabs the back of the salesman's head. Breaker's blood sears the salesman's scalp. Screaming, the salesman pushes Geraldine back, his skin sizzling where it touches her bloody arm, and drops back down into the room below. Geraldine snatches up a flashlight and goes after him. Moments later, as Geraldine lets herself down through the hole in the ceiling, she's got the key in one hand and a flashlight in the other. Geraldine emerges from Uncle Willie's room, and she shines her flashlight along the row of rooms opposite. Since the movement below, shines her flashlight down into the parlor, and more sounds like footsteps. Geraldine heads back towards the stairs. She reaches the bottom and shines her flashlight around the room as she edges towards the center. She hears a sound from the back hallway. Click, click, click. Shines her flashlight in one direction. It continues. Click, click, click. Heads up the steps into the dining room. Click, click, click. Geraldine shines her flashlight down the basement stairs and sees nothing. She turns, shines her flashlight into the bathroom. The beam of Geraldine's flashlight moves past the sink, to the toilet, to the bathtub. Tucker's headless body still fills the tub. Geraldine starts to back up. Stop. Something isn't quite right. She steps forward, shines her flashlight at the bathtub. Then, up at the shower rod, several of the plastic clips that normally hold up the shower curtain swing lazily back and forth. Suddenly, Geraldine knows what the sound was. Before she can react, the salesman lunges at her from behind the bathroom door. He's got the clear plastic shower curtain in his hands. He wraps it around Geraldine, pushes her into the tub, and Geraldine screams as she lands atop Tucker. The salesman turns under the water, uses the top of the curtain to funnel into Geraldine's head. Geraldine struggles helplessly. Above her, distorted by the shower curtain, is the salesman. Below her is Tucker's horrible corpse. We're getting a lot of attention paid to Tucker's horrible corpse here. The water washes his blood from Geraldine's skin. The salesman tightens his grip, pushes Geraldine's head upward so that his nose and mouth are directed right at the full impact of the flow.
It's a pity you'll never see Paris.
Geraldine tries to stab at the salesman with a key, but her arm is pinned through the plastic wedge between Tucker and the side of the tub, and Geraldine chokes, coughs, struggles to twist her feet away from the water, but the salesman is too strong. Geraldine's body goes limp. The salesman keeps her face aimed at the water, carefully adjusts the curtain, allowing his water to wash away the rest of the blood. The salesman drags Geraldine's limp body in from the bathroom, drags her to the dining room table. Geraldine still clutches the key in her hand as her body comes to the stop. The muscles in her hand relax, and the key goes to the floor. The salesman gazes at it. He grabs a sample case from the dining room table, sets it on the floor, not far from the key. He holds out his hand. The ends of his fingers talonize. He reaches for Geraldine's hand, pushes his talons into the flesh at the bottom of her hand. The salesman fingers burrow. He's filling her hand with his. He reaches her fingertips, wiggles them, and it's stiff but workable. The salesman turns Geraldine's hand over, reaches down for the key. For a moment, he hesitates, uncertain. He goes for it, picks up the key. Nothing happens. The salesman chuckles, holds the key to his face. There's suddenly still some blood on it. As the pain of having the salesman's hand shoved into hers rockets her back to consciousness, Geraldine's eyes bug wide. She coughs violently, spitting water. The salesman turns surprised, and Geraldine sucks in her breath and hisses.
Uh-oh.
Come on, Geraldine.
Geraldine says, but we can't hear her.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Fucking key.
There she is.
There you go.
Yours.
The salesman turns back towards the key just as Geraldine's hand, under Geraldine's power, shoves the key into the salesman's good eye. The salesman howls as the blood on the key shoots onto the salesman's face, consuming it. The salesman tries to pull away, but Geraldine holds him tightly, pulls him into her with her common hand, digging the key in deeper.
Mirror lover.
Geraldine closes her eyes and holds on. The blood shoots the length of the salesman's body, frying it. The salesman shudders and collapses in Geraldine's arms. Coughing, Geraldine pushes the salesman's remains aside. She gazes at his remains, not so much more than bones and ash and ooze.
Was it good for you too?
The church rises ominously, silently in the background. Geraldine steps into the foreground. She's carrying a background in one hand, a backpack. Okay. She's carrying a backpack, a cat carrier in the other. She sets down the cat carrier, and inside Cleo meows.
I know.
Not so seductive, Irene.
Just give one more time to do before we hit the road.
Geraldine pulls a whiskey bottle from the top of the knapsack. A rag has been shoved on top. Geraldine pulls out some matches and lights it. She tosses the bottle towards the house. It smashes and bursts into flames. At the bus station, several passengers climb aboard, showing the driver their tickets. Geraldine brings up the rear. She climbs onto the bus, hands the driver a ticket, stops, turns back, and settles Cleo down.
Excuse me.
Geraldine pulls the key from her pocket. Discreetly, she opens it, spills a drop of blood on the bus doorway. She turns back to the befuddled driver. Geraldine sits towards the back. On the opposite side from the door, she gazes at her reflection in the window.
Excuse me, miss?
Geraldine turns. Fred, a handsome, overly earnest young man, sits in the next seat.
I don't mean to bother you, but I couldn't help noticing your tattoo. I don't see many pretty women with tattoos like that. You mind if I ask what it cost you?
Hell of a lot.
She turns back to the window. Suddenly the bus slows and Geraldine cranes her neck, tries to see what's going on. Deserted highway as the bus slows to a stop. A case, just like the salesman, swings into view as the bus door opens. We do not see the person carrying it, but we do see that they're wearing a long overcoat, a lot like the salesman's, and a pair of medium heels. The bus driver looks down at the person.
Where are you going?
And then
No,
the salesman
it's okay.
says,
I'm about to say no. It's okay. I'll wait for the next one. I ain't dying today.
The bus driver shrugs, pulls the door closed, and puts the bus into gear. As the bus pulls away, we hold. Slowly, the person with the case walks in the direction the bus went. As they walk, they whistle. A chirpy rendition of "Give Me That Old Time Religion" plays. And as the bus disappears in the distance, we slowly fade out.
We're done.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Tales from the Crypt, presents Demon Night.
Yes.
Demon Night.
It's very different from the movie.
Very different from the movie.
It is from what I remember.
If you haven't watched
different from
Demon
the
Night
movie.
before and you're just watching this, you should probably watch Demon Night now.
I have never actually seen it.
It's so good. Ernest Dickerson
weird.
directed it.
You haven't seen it?
Fucking
What?
Spike
Oh my
Lee's
God.
old DP is fucking amazing.
Right now, I think it's only like $3.99 too to rent.
And it's
Amazon.
Than, Dennis Miller and Bordello of Blood.
No, shush, don't talk about that.
Substantially better.
You guys, like,
I really-
we have in this Zoom Black people, Latin people, Asian people, and I'm gonna tell you, this movie affected me because it was like the first time that I saw a woman and a person of color as a protagonist. It wasn't just a fucking sidekick or a victim, and I was like, oh my
Jada
god,
Pinkett.
right, Jada Pinkett, and she's so hot, you know. And I was like,
Still is.
we can be not red shirts too. It was like amazing.
Yeah, she
Amazing.
crushed. And Ernest Dickerson is a black filmmaker too. Directed it. It's amazing.
Yeah,
It's just incredible.
I know Ernest.
The director is the person of color too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Directed some awesome.
Amazing.
DP, right?
Driving the game too, I think, didn't he?
I feel
Oh
like
my
I should
God.
see this movie because, well, I mean, right now I write for Creep Show, but my wife was actually a casting associate on the TV series Tales from the Crypt.
Oh my god!
A whole bunch of those
Has she
episodes.
Has she met the Crypt Keeper?
Oh, John Cassier for sure.
No, the
Yes.
mannequin.
Oh yeah,
the bones.
yeah, because that was Todd Masters made that, I believe, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Jeremy
And
Todd Masters made
Todd
it.
Masters, and I remember Todd talking because I remember they're saying that originally they were reverting to a script where there was all of these salesmen people, so they could save money on doing like monster effects, and he was
Right.
like, "Fuck that! No, they have to be demons." So like he went all out to say, "I promise you, we can make demons, and they're amazing." And then like
You know,
let's talk
there's-
about like Thomas Hayden Church in this movie. CCH Pounder's incredible. I mean, Billy Zane is off the charts. Bill Sadler
yeah.
is incredible. Like it's just
Charles Fleischer.
so much talent just crammed into this like weird like midnight B movie, and then it's just like got so much.
And there
fun
was
shit
that
in it.
weird. The movie had the weird intro
Yes, it did.
with John.
So-
Yeah. With
So
the
my
woman in the
dad
bathtub.
dropped
Yeah.
me off at the movie theaters to see it because I had to be dropped off, and he was just like an good old boy.
Oh,
He's
it
like,
had
I'll
a
drop you
theater
off.
showing. It
Oh, yeah.
wasn't just a rental thing.
Oh no, this was released in theaters.
This is like
So-
one of the movies that was released after
So
they was trying to get rid
I
of
go
the
up there
show.
to get the tickets, but I wasn't of age yet, so I had to like go get my dad, flag him down. He had to come up and buy the tickets for me. And so when I got in on the screen, it just said Demon Night. So I had no idea that there was that intro with John Larroquette and the Crypt Keeper until 7 months later when I saw it on VHS. I had no idea
But they
because
didn't
I
have-
missed
they didn't have the
that.
Crypt Keeper in the theater.
What's that?
They didn't have the Crypt Keeper in the theater.
No, they did. I missed
Yeah,
it, and I
you missed
didn't
it.
know. I didn't know that there was an intro when I saw it. I was
So
like,
he,
oh,
he
I just
got
made
in
it.
when the movie was starting. Yeah,
It's
he
just
got
said
in.
like demon. I was like, oh, I made it perfect, but I had no idea about all the weird.
That
Yeah.
didn't happen to me because I was 53 when the movie came out, so that was.
That's not possible because I'm 53 now.
So guys, I want to do a couple of quick plugs, but first of all, if you have not donated to our charity yet for this read and the next 2 months worth of reads, please do that. It's Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
They sure as hell do. And you can go to our website. There's a donate tab at the top that'll take you directly to Black Lives Matter's donation page. Please make a donation now. Whenever you watch this, it'll be, again, it's our charity for the next 2 months. Just, give what you can. Next week, we'll be back, same time, same date with The Fast and the Furious.
Nice.
Gonna be,
Holy shit.
yeah, which is going to be great. We got Griffin Newman doing that one and a lot of other fun folks.
We got a lot of good shows coming up.
Yeah, we got, after that, we got.
I literally wrote Billy in the middle of this and was like, I'll give you $10 million to let me play Brian because I have a Fast and Furious tattoo. You do not know how much that series means to me.
Oh my gosh, you do. Where is it?
It's the number
Can
of
you
that.
show?
It's that.
What?
Wow. Oh
Well,
my
since
God,
we're
that's
doing
so
that,
far.
whenever Whenever you're ready for Jaws, just let me know because I'm ready for Clint.
And hey, no, whenever you're ready for Lake Placid, here we go.
Okay, now I need to get some tattoos on me.
Wait, are you Brendan Gleeson or Oliver Platt?
Or Dog's Purpose? Let me know.
I'm probably Bill Pullman.
Lake Placid
You
would be
guys, like,
that's one of my
fucking donate to Black Lives Matter because
Yes.
seriously, I was 14 years old when this movie came out, and it was like, holy shit, people of color can be protagonists too. And
Absolutely.
like, I am fucking almost 40 years old, and when was the last time we had a person of color that has been a protagonist, that has not been a sidekick or a fucking red shirt? Like, fucking
Thank
donate
you.
now.
Hey, hold
Thank
up.
you.
First of all, personal plug. I'm in a movie. I star in a movie with Lynn Shay from the Insidious series called Get Gone.
Yep.
Good
You don't get
job.
killed.
Awesome, Rico.
The hero of the film. I am the hero of the film. So check it out.
And he won an
Watch
award.
Rico's movie, motherfuckers.
Yeah. And I won an award. I won best actor, best supporting actor, and we got all these crazy awards. But it was the role was written for
That's
me.
awesome, Rico. Congratulations.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. So I wasn't redshirted.
But Rico, Alex, Ashley, fuck supporting actor. Come to Lao and be like main actors. Fuck that shit.
Absolutely.
Should have got
Come
main
to
actor.
Lao.
I'm coming to Laos, like for real. I'm coming.
We're kind
I'm
of
on my
third
way.
world, but like whatever. We got instant noodles, and we got the vodka.
That's okay. That's okay.
You
And
got
no more COVID, right? No more COVID.
No,
more
we're COVID
COVID.
free.
Yeah.
No, for real.
You guys are-
Put your fucking masks on and stay the fuck home, motherfuckers, because like we didn't reopen our economy until we were 2 weeks with no new COVID cases. 2 fucking weeks. So like,
Yeah, we
wear
too
your
greedy
fucking
over
mask
here.
and stay the fuck home.
It's
We're too
way
greedy
too
over
greedy.
here.
Guys,
Yeah,
we're
Maddie,
gonna
Our government is way too greedy for that.
Yep.
We're
I
gonna
mean, in my-
retroactively drink on all the fucks that Mattie just said. So
No, honestly,
I want the whole bottle.
am I the only one who's just like so fucking jealous that she's eating noodles right now? All I can think is, what do I have in the
So hungry. I got taco.
Where can I get noodles right now? And
I
they're
want some
so-
ramen so
Guys,
bad.
Everyone's
right now.
drinking, and then she's like, "I got noodles, motherfuckers," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I want noodles! I want noodles!"
Clearly, no one else here's parents, because me and Felissa, like my whole fucking pantry is noodles, so I could just be like, kids, just get away from me. Go have some fucking ramen.
Go make fucking noodles, kids.
on that line, I am going to end the live stream, and so
Bye,
let me.
everybody.
I'm going to thank everybody again. So I'm going to start down at the bottom corner. Mattie Doe, Tiffany Shepis, Marshall Brown, Caleb Ward, Frank Dietz, Jeremy Gardner, Ashley Song, Felissa Rose, Adam Carl. Follow us on the socials at Scripts Gone Wild. We'll see you next week. Thank you, guys.